Hey, I'm Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm really excited to share my favorite mechanism in a game called Skoventyr. This game will be widely released, I believe, at Essen Spiel 2023. I'm filming this right before then because I bought this recently and just played it a few days ago. This game was designed by someone that I am fairly close to, someone who has worked with Stonemaier Games for a long time in the solo modes. This is Morten Monrad Peterson. He's in charge of Automa Factory. However, this is not a solo game. This is a solo slash co-op game for 1 to 4 players. And it is a really, really interesting puzzle, one that I haven't really seen in a cooperative game before. So it is the style of a cooperative game where you are playing against the game. The game is trying to defeat you. Specifically, a character from, I believe, Danish lore, Danish mythology called Gamle Erik is trying to catch up with you, and you are, all players, are this badger. This badger is trying to outrun Gamle Erik in this chase around the forest, which is just a circle of trees that the badger is running around. One badger representing all players. So you're trying to move clockwise so that Gamle Erik doesn't catch you. Gamle Erik can move at certain times to try to get up to the space where you are, the badger is. Gamle Erik can also, or there are effects that can remove trees, making that path, that circle, a little shorter, making it, again, easier for Gamle Erik to catch you. The interesting hook to me about this game, perhaps the biggest hook about this game, and my favorite mechanism, is that your allies, the cards that you need to defeat. I should back up a little bit. Gamle Erik isn't only the bad guy. Isn't the only bad guy. There are also these other forces of nature that you're trying to defeat, and your allies, these cards in the game, are used to defeat those forces of nature in the forest, but they're also a little mischievous themselves. You can see that on the card. The first time I saw these cards out there, I was like, wait, these are our allies? Like they all look like they have something going on that may not be in our best interest. And that is somewhat the case in these cards, in that when you gain an ally, that ally has a little requirement that it makes you do. So for example, let me make sure I get these right. The form skifter, this says it moves Gamle Erik 1 step clockwise. That's this ability right here. Whenever you pick up this card from the card row, which is something you can do in your turn, there's a way that you can gain cards to your hand. This card moves Gamle Erik towards you, which is a bad thing. This card makes you burn one of the trees, makes you turn a tree over from the good side to the bad side, which puts it closer to just being removed completely. This one, the trolled exposes 2 allies. So it means that if there are 2 allies that are hidden in the forest, that's where you put these ally cards. If there are 2 allies hidden in the forest, it will expose them, making them vulnerable to Gamle Erik, and so on. All of these cards have something bad that happens when you pick them up. And if you can't do that thing, or if you don't want to, you have a choice. You can take a little risk. And that risk is that you can simply draw a card from the top of the deck and hope that it's another ally. If it is, it goes to the bottom of the deck. If it's Gamle Erik himself, though, and this one isn't, look, we got a little lucky there. If it's an ally, it goes to the bottom of the deck. If it's Gamle Erik, though, and there are a bunch of Gamle Erik cards in that deck, then Gamle Erik moves 2 spaces clockwise. This is a risk that you can take if you want. But it's just fascinating to me that these allies, these cards that you need to gain, you need these cards. When you play them, they actually all do a very good thing for you when you play them. To gain these cards in the first place is part of the puzzle. It's part of the cost. There's something bad that must happen. And so you need to decide when is the right timing for me to gain this card, or the right time to risk it and draw a random card from the top of the deck so it doesn't hurt us too badly. It adds a really interesting element to the puzzle. The allies aren't just good, that they're mischievous. They do things that aren't in your best interest, and that is part of the puzzle of Skoventyr. Really interesting puzzle game. I could see it working well solo, but we played it 3-player and we had a good time kind of puzzling it out together to try to solve this puzzle. Came down to one of the last cards and we didn't win, but having it right on that knife's edge at the end made me want to play again and give it a try and see if we could win another time. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have the chance to play Skoventyr, drop by and say hi to Morten at Essen Spiel if you're there, and get him to sign your copy if you pick up a copy while you're there. Really interesting puzzly solo co-op game, Skoventyr. If this reminds you of another game, another similar puzzle game where getting the good cards that you need to win also provide a negative puzzle or a difficult, challenging puzzle? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks.